And good evening, everyone. This is the Dirigo Union post-match pulse. Sam Tracy alongside John Tabor and Sean Fecto bringing you our thoughts on a crucial road win for the Hearts as they march down and take 3 points in dramatic fashion off the Greenville Triumph. Uh, so let's just get some initial thoughts out of the way. I mean, there was a lot of just sort of storylines going into this one. Of course, Greenville coming off a 10-day mental health break, Hearts on the tail end going into a 10-day mental health break. Um, Sean, I want to get your thoughts. Were we really expecting this type of fight from the Hearts with this break on the horizon?
Yeah, the Hearts are looking to do some big things and trying to get up on inside the top four, right, in the playoff spot, and they're really the players have come out and publicly said they're looking for top four, right? So in order to do that, some 3 games ago, they're sitting about 10, 11 points out of fourth place, which FC Naples currently holds. So certainly, more winning was in need some 3 games ago, and wouldn't you know it, 3-game winning streak coming out of Greenville, South Carolina, and the Hearts are going into 10 days of rest. In I think it's was it fifth place? Fifth place?
As of right now, Hearts currently sit, I
Six,
believe, in
maybe.
sixth.
They're
Yes.
six. They're 1 point behind the Independents, if memory serves me correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So going into a 10-day break, 1 point below Charlotte Independence, sitting in sixth. Huge run, huge 3-game span for the Hearts of Pine. John?
Yeah, and going back, 4 games, it was, everybody was kind of upset about the Kickers draw, but going back to that, it's 10 out of 12 points, right? It's that's nothing to sneeze at. It's 2 points a game, 2.5 points, two and a third points a game. So that's absolutely massive. I mean, we'll get into the game itself, but I think it was again a real gritty performance for the boys, and a game that on short rest they could have gone out there and just said, "Meh." But I think they've learned to be professional at this point, and it showed.
And it kind of makes you wonder though, because I mean, of course, Greenville has a Jaeger Cup semi on the things, but let's not, you know, let's not just take away credit from, what an amazing win this was for the Hearts. I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into it here. And early on, some early discipline that sort of comes back to haunt the Hearts later in the game. 3 minutes in, Michelle Poon picks up a yellow, which personally I thought that was just a ref sort of not taking any crap from anybody. But I don't know, Taylor. What did you think?
I thought the same thing. Like if that's gonna be the way that they're gonna call things, I'm okay with that. Going back to the Westchester game where it was a quick yellow for somebody on Westchester and then a quick yellow for Mikey. If that's how it's going to be on both sides, I'm all for it. But when it's kind of one-way traffic on the fouls, and maybe I'm being a bit of a sour grape on it, but it as the match went on, it felt like that was a little over the top to give a yellow in the first 3 minutes. I don't know what you thought, Sean.
Yeah, call it the way you want. Just be consistent about it is usually my theme when it comes to referees. I would ask people to ratchet it back if it's no blood, no foul. Prison rules, if you will. We don't need to be carting people off the field. But other than that, yeah, call it as you like. Just be consistent about it. For me, something like that in the third minute, I'm talking to somebody. I'm not giving a yellow card, but that's just me.
Yeah, and it was sort of back and forth, a bit of the feeling out process. Hunter Morse actually had to make a real nice save in the 8th minute of play, just sort of right out of open play. He has to sprawl forward and knock it over the bar. Um, but he would once again come under siege, and he would surrender the first goal about 15 minutes in. as Greenville was on the board. And on this one, you can't really blame Hunter for it. It was a clear miscommunication in the box. Kamali Green sort of held up, but I don't know. You think Hunter's going to want that one back, Tabor?
Yeah, I think he'd like the second guess back. It looks like he went to go for it for a second and then pulled back, like he thought Kamali was going to get to it. Um, so I think it's three mistakes to make a goal, and I think we saw that happen on that goal. And it was against the run of play, which was the most frustrating part about it. I think Hearts were kind of on the front foot for the first 15 minutes or so, and then that happens on kind of just a broken play. Um, so yeah, I think everybody wanted that one back, but I think everybody takes a little bit of blame on that one for sure.
Shawn,
Yeah,
your
it's just
thoughts?
yeah, it's just kind of one of those deals where, Kamali tries to kind of get under it a little bit and just try to nod it back to his keeper, and he gets a little bit too under the center of the ball, and it's kind of like a little bit of a pop fly, and it's just enough time in the air for the attacker to get near it and get dangerous, and puts it in the back of the net, and it's one of those things you just gotta put your palms to the sky, check for rain, say, "All right, move on," and put it back in the center of the pitch, and let's keep going. The Hearts have surrendered early goals before, and more times than not have come out on the better side of things. So I really don't think it shook any of our boys down there in South Carolina.
Yeah, and you sort of saw it as the first half went on, as Hearts were trying to get right back into it, and it would pay off for them uh, during the first minute of stoppage time. Mikey sort of gets the ball, and this is because we should also mention that this is once again another away match in which the Hearts are playing on a field with football lines. They were playing over on the campus of Furman University at Paladin Stadium, but Mikey gets the ball at about the football 35-yard line, slots a nice pass to Masashi Wada, who sort of dances in around the defense and slots one home to equalize and send us into the half even. Shawn, any thoughts on that play?
My opinion, the best goal of the Hearts had
Yeah.
for the night. Just real high quality touch from Masashi Water as he gets that ball from Mikey Lopez. Some may have missed it if you don't pay close attention to it, but as soon as Water gets that ball, he passes the ball in behind the defender, Brandon Frick. So the defender is like chest towards Water, looking to spot him up, and Water just hits it with the outside of the foot. The ball goes behind the defender. Water goes for the goal, picks up the ball after it goes by the defender, and deposits it in the back of the net. And he wheels off to celebrate with his teammates, and multiple defenders, hands on knees, looking at the ground, along with Mr. Frick, that basically just got schooled by the Yokohama Japan Masashi Wada. Josh, John.
Yeah. Bergkamp-esque, right? I mean, it was beautiful to let spin move around him like that. I mean, Ollie was celebrating before the ball went in. Everybody knew that everybody got undressed on that play, and um, you know, it's again a play where the Hearts kind of build from the back and just pass through two sets of lines. This time it's Mikey that does it, but that's kind of been the calling card for the last three games. Is they can kill you with a long pass, and I think they were ready for it, but just on that play, if you look at it, and I think um, what's his name? Morrissey put out something on Blue Sky uh,
Okay.
talking about that on USL Tactics, how like essentially Noah dragged somebody off to the side, and it was the exact same play as over the weekend, where Wada's just acres of space and just finishes the goal. And if nobody's gonna do anything about it, you're gonna keep running that play over and over again, and the Hearts will take it into the break 1-1.
Yeah, and it was
How were things at the watch party, Sam? that you were at least at
Well,
that
yeah,
point.
we had 3 different watch parties going, this, last night.
Massive club.
We had the club at the brand new Allagash location in Scarborough, over at Scarborough Downs. The DU was at O'Reilly's Cure, ran by a DU member. Shout out O'Reilly's Cure. And then we have the third one at the Jim Scottish Pub in in South Portland, better known as our bagpiper Ross Adams Garage. And it was a full on block party, and credit to Ross, he sure knows how to throw a party. It was his birthday too, so it was his birthday party in a sense. Um, but wow, him and Shannon just have a great place really to take in a match. They had multiple screens going with the game on it. There was plenty of entertainment to be had. The band brought their drums. Ross brought out his pipes for a little bit. We had a little fun with that. Uh, and the kids had some fun too because he has a slot machine and an arcade machine also in the vicinity. It's just unreal stuff.
Wow.
And
Moving in.
yeah, it's a good DU showing at that event, and the place goes nuts after the first goal, and Ross and his buddy break out the bagpipes. It was just a lot of fun. Now, we did uh we did manage to pick a little something up around halftime, in which South Portland PD showed up because we were maybe having a little too much fun. But all's well that ends well because apparently they were watching the game in their in their cruiser, and once they were off the clock, one decided to not only become a DU member but watch the game with us.
They were watching in their cruiser. That's insane. I love that.
Yeah, it goes to show you just the hold that this club has on the community
Wow.
and the surrounding areas, given its SoPo. But we'll go into one halftime substitution for the Hearts. Noah Kvifta comes off, and Titus comes on. I think it was a. I know that Bobby's still trying to work Titus back in, and I think it was a decent sub. What do you think, Shawn?
Yeah, I know. At post match, when we played our last match there at Fitzpatrick Stadium, and Bobby mentioned that Titus was kind of had a bit of a strain, nothing too serious, but it was just something to just kind of playing it cautious. Wanted to make sure they're taking care of Titus, knowing that we got the last third of the season and playoffs to kind of start planning for and that type deal. So. Kind of lent to the mat. We'll probably see a little bit of Titus. We kind of all assumed he'd probably be coming off the bench. Sure enough, he did exactly that. And one thing in the first half that was very evident of the Hearts was they were very heavy legged. They were slow to get to the ball. Oftentimes, second best to the ball in the first half. You could tell that they had just got done playing 2 games in some week and a half time, and basically they were really looking for some energy. We were talking a lot in Discord of needing subs in the second half because it was just very obvious this team needed energy in the worst way. And that Wada goal just prior to halftime was exactly what this team needed. Knowing they didn't have to come out and equalize right on the back half of halftime, that water goal really made the Hearts kind of go into the locker room and not have to draw up a game plan of needing a goal right away. But Coach Bobby Murphy decides to go ahead and take the Norwegian out and put in Titus Washington. Give ourselves maybe just a little bit more of a goal scoring threat, at least what we have seen as of late from Noah. Probably still acclimating into the team, so just give him a little bit more time. I'm sure he'll be coming up on playing in the next 3 or 4 matches, but Titus certainly been in form for us as of late, and we want someone that can has shown that he can put it in the back of the net. Certainly when it's 1-1 and you're away down there in South Carolina, and you're looking to get a big 3 points out of this match. So Coach Bobby Murphy putting Titus in in the second half. John.
Yeah, I think the legs were definitely needed. I think all of us were talking about how the first half had us thinking about Chattanooga. Like it felt
Yeah.
very much like that, where they just didn't have it in the first half. So credit to the boys for battling back, getting that goal right before the half. You shorten the game. Now it's a 45-minute game. You've got you've you got to think that Bobby was saying, well, we've got the game changers that can break this thing wide open in the second half, right? Um, he brings on Titus, um, and I think the legs immediately pay dividends. I think there were times in the first half where Noah got into space but just didn't have the oomph to get going. And you thought a couple times that, oh man, if Titus got on the front of that ball, he's dribbling. And there was just times where Noah, not to dismiss what he's doing, but he just
Hmm.
didn't have the legs for the game, which is totally understandable after playing 90 minutes the day before or 3 days beforehand. So you make the first change, and you got to feel things are gonna pick up in the second half, and then comes the next goal, I guess, and it's just kind of, again, I wouldn't against the run of play to a certain extent, but I don't
Hmm.
know what you thought, Sam.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting that he said that we have the game changers, and folks, that's a little foreshadowing if you couldn't tell. But you're right. It did sort of come against the run of play as Greenville. It was a play that the goal scorer Robles kind of slips behind the defense unmarked, and they find him on the back. It's a good goal. You can't really discredit it in any way. I mean, if Hart scored that, we'd be singing the praises of it for weeks on end. Uh,
Absolutely.
but it was a good goal, and it sort of catches the Hearts off guard, and they fall down 2-1 in the 50th minute. And I don't know about you, Tabor, but I kind of thought that I was kind of seeing the Chattanooga game, and that the Hearts weren't really putting up much of a fight. Um,
Yeah, that's I think all of us were, you could see it coming at that point. It's like, ah, geez, we've
mhm.
seen this show. We've only seen it one other time, but it has happened, right? Like they're to their credit, they're fighters at this point of the season.
Oh
Bobby's
yeah,
taught the young guys to be professional. And I think we said after the last game that this could be one of those games where you got to just get dirty and just get your lunch pail and get the game done at the end of the whole thing. And at that point in the game, it felt like, okay, you guys can either choose to play the game and finish it out, or you can pack it in. And
hmm
credit to them. But that's kind of where I was at that point. Sean, I don't know
yeah,
if you had any other thoughts.
Yeah, I know it was a good goal by Greenville. I maybe I'm thinking of different plays or something and getting them mixed up. But didn't that goal come in from a throw in from Greenville? I thought maybe it came in from a throw in and it got passed back to the person that threw it, and then the big cross did come in.
yeah,
Um,
it did.
and I believe that's why the defender was trying to get back and cover on the back post, and it was a
Yeah, it
beautiful
was.
touch on the outside of his right foot to put it in the back of the net. It was a great touch,
Yeah, and some
great pass, great
decent curve
assist.
on it too.
Yeah, no, it was a good goal by Greenville, and I think if memory serves me correctly, it came in off from a throw in. But
Hmm.
yeah, Greenville's up 2-1. Yeah, it has only been 4 or 5 minutes since Titus took the field, so Titus hadn't really had a chance to do too much yet. And we're still looking at a heavy-legged Hearts team down now 2-1, shortly just before halftime, having equalized, and then some, 4 or 5 minutes later, as far as the game clock is concerned, uh, they're down another goal again. Now 2-1.
Yeah,
It was
and
Sims with the assist too. I know how we all feel about Sims, number 4. I just
Ah,
yeah,
yes, the Boo Birds of Fitzpatrick Stadium and Mr.
yes.
Sims.
but good assists.
Very, very
It's
familiar
all
with
in.
each other, that's for sure.
Yeah, credit to the
But
assists.
then a couple minutes later, Mikey picks up his what seems to be his customary yellow card at this point, and there was some talk in the Discord this morning about because the USL does have a disciplinary system in place for um, accumulated bookings, and right now Mikey's sort of towing the line in the eyes of the league. He's sitting on 7 yellow cards, as 2 of them have been canceled out by the 3 consecutive match, removing one. Um, but 62nd minute, we get some fresh legs out there once again, as as Ollie Wright comes off for Evan Southern, and Patty Langlois comes off for JT Kamara. And it was after, and it's once again the super sub JT that really starts to make the difference in this game. Now, Tabor, I don't know about you, but I do think that subbing in JT sort of turned the game on its head a bit.
I completely agree. And also putting Evan on because Ollie kind of looked like he was leggy as well. So
Yeah.
Evan bringing on
He-
some legs on the side, it was needed at that point. I know the announcers were like, "Well, that seems like a confusing substitution." I'm like, "Well, it was kind of needed. Like he
Yeah,
he plays 90 minutes every game. Like you gotta give him a break once in a while." So to
yeah.
see Evan come on, to see JT come on, that adds a lot of pace between the two of those guys, right? Um, and then JT was kind of more central because Varela was still on as well. Um, so to have Varela, Evan, JT, and Titus, that's a lot of pace up front, and I think that really put them on their heels from there on out. At least for a while.
yeah. Shawn, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, anytime you need some energy, one of the very first names that should be coming off the tip of your tongue is JT Kamara. Give him an energy drink, give him some pop rocks, turn him around, spin him up, turn him loose, let him go, and stand out of the way because JT Kamara will bring the energy, whether it be dribbling in off the edge or taking one person on, 2 people on, 3 people on, 4 people on.
Or
It doesn't matter. JT Kamara has got speed for everybody out there on the pitch. So if you want to step up while JT's on the ball, have at it, but you better be ready because you're going to need your defending boots on. And
Yeah,
JT early on showed exactly that. Running at the defense. I think within the first 5 or 10 minutes that he was on the pitch, and making a dangerous pass that never did come out to anything goal wise for the Hearts early on. But he was certainly catching the attention of that Greenville defense, pushing that left edge of the Greenville Triumph defense back with his speed, and certainly raising some eyebrows.
yeah. Only 10 minutes later, he had a real nice scoring opportunity where he runs to the defense edge of the box, and it ultimately gets saved. But it was just sort of a little preview of what was to come later on. Now, of course, Greenville trying to keep the fresh legs in. They make subs in the 66th, and they make a triple sub in the 74th. Um, but 5 minutes later, it all amounts to naught for Greenville as JT, once again, dangerous as ever, sort of receives a. I wouldn't. I guess you could call it a through ball from the outside from Nathan Messer. And in typical JT fashion, hesitates a little bit, and then left foot, top corner, back of the net, bang bang, we're tied up at 2 apiece. And it was just one of those things that you couldn't help but look at it. I was at the point in the match, at least where I was doing my best to simulate being in Las Vegas, one hand on the slot machine, looking up at the game, and just seeing JT run onto that ball. Just that is textbook JT Kamara. What do you think, Dibber?
yeah, I mean, and it's great because you've got Evan and Titus running with him. So they pull the center backs back, and all of a sudden there's just acres of space on the penalty spot. He just bangs it in. Um, so now you've got an assist from your left back, you've got an assist from your right back. That's kind of like probably the dream scenario at that point. Like you've done what you need to do to claw your way back into the game after being leggy for the first half and part of the second half. Um, your subs have done exactly what they need to. Messer's always going to run. He apparently is one of those guys that just has an endless engine. I don't know how he does it, but 90 more minutes for Messer. I don't know if he's not played 90 minutes at this point in every game. It's insane. And
We'll have to
he
look back on
gets that
that.
cut back on for JT, and JT bang puts it in. And at that point, I think everybody, and I think immediately Mitch put in the Discord, he's like, oh, Heart's going to win this game. Like, it's hard not to see it at that point. Like, they had made all their subs, Greenville had, and they all of a sudden had packed the box and we're going to play park the bus football. And you've got the guys that can probably break that down with JT and Titus on the pitch. Like that's dream scenario. Give us 20 more minutes of this game at this point, and we'll win it. That's at least what I
Yeah,
was
and
thinking here as I'm running around the house at 8:30. As Rory's like, "Please, can you just go to bed at this point?" I don't know what you were doing, Shawn, but I was running around like an insane person.
Yeah, no, and just before that goal, like you mentioned, you alluded to already that Greenville had used all their subs, right? So it was probably some 5 to 10 minutes after JT came on that Greenville had seen enough and basically pulled their left winger and put in someone new that could run back and help on defense, right? Um, usually when you're thinking against the Greenville defense and where JT is, that left winger may not matter so much because he's going to be up beyond. But just like the Hearts, where they want to drop back and they want to help on defense, that winger is no different, right? So they wanted to change out some new legs at left wing to help on the defensive duties to basically, in my opinion, to try to help battle against quick-footed JT Camara. And then I think it was probably another 7 or 8 minutes after making that original sub, the left center back came out and they made another change again on the left side of that defense where JT Camara was roaming and creating havoc prior to this goal. And then, as you guys had mentioned, JT Camara basically cutting into the box and putting the ball on his left foot, and basically being pretty patient. He had a defender right in front of him, and he wanted to make sure that he took that extra step and kind of turned the defender around a little bit, and then just curled it in with his left foot, 2-2, all even.
It's a
It really,
great point on the being patient. I think that's something that JT's picked up over
Yeah.
the course of the season. I think he's, instead of just being like front foot all the way forward at all times, he's realized that you can kind of let that play develop a little bit. Sorry, Sam, you were.
no. You made a great point there, and that I also think that I think if this was earlier in the season JT, I mean that did sort of remind us of early season JT in a sense with the one touch in the finish because he scored a very very similar goal against Naples at home, but it was a nice one to equalize here as we've got some comments here in the chat. Spencer's here. What's up, Spence? He says he missed the second half, followed along on Discord, and the Discord was a pretty crazy place in the second half. Just seeing it as the goal comes forward, everybody losing it in the Up the Hearts channel, but once again, that one evens it up, and then 4 or 5 minutes later, Greenville draws the out, and then MPA picks up a second yellow, and honestly, well, first off, this is actually I've got a stat here that's gonna be a little mind blowing here, but this is the first red that we've picked up in league play this late in the season. Just goes to show you really how well disciplined and how toe the line ish this Hearts squad can be, and that we we play hard and we will pick up quite a few yellows, but the fact that this was our first sending off of the season in league play, of course, we've had a few in other competitions, like we had the Cash red card in the Jaeger Cup. We had we've had a couple, but I believe this, if I'm not mistaken, and please, correct if anybody's out there and can think of the other times, because this is just off the dome. Please tweet me at Sam B Tracy. But I believe this might be the first time that we've picked up a red in league play. Now, Shawn, it doesn't it feel it does feel a little weird to be saying that, you know, uh, in early September. No?
No, it's it was mentioned there before that basically these Hearts tend to know where that line is in terms of discipline. Being top of the league in terms of yellow cards. But before this match was basically one of only two teams that still was without a red card for the league. As you mentioned before, red cards with Cash and in cup competitions, and if you recall correctly, Mikey Lopez and
Yeah, Mikey in the
Azadiadi
Open Cup.
were also red
Mhm.
carded as well back in those cup competitions. So, you know, all comps, yeah, the Hearts had, three, maybe even four red cards if we're forgetting one in a cup competition somewhere. But in terms of the league, they had been clean up until this point. So, um, one would argue that maybe MPA didn't deserve that second yellow. Some were saying that he never got the ball. I didn't see enough of it to really give you an honest opinion. To me, it looked like he had the ball. If he got a piece of
I
him,
mean,
then it couldn't have been by much. It's not like he just completely aerated the top of his foot with his cleats or something. But hey, if he got him, he got him. But it just kind of stinks knowing that earlier yellow card was for something so rudimentary, and within the first 3 minutes, and that's what basically added the two together to get the red and get sent off. John?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, well, MPA's gone. And obviously the card comes out second yellow, and it's just one of those like, yeah, that sucks. Like the first yellow was probably a soft yellow. Like I get the second one just on like pure pace and power on the play. Um, and then it was immediately like, oh shit, now he's not going to be around for the next game. And that's where my mind immediately went. I'm like, okay, it's 2-2, whatever. We're gonna just bunker in 10 minutes. We can deal. And I was like, oh man, you're not gonna have him for Chattanooga. That hurt.
Yeah.
Um, because at the time I had just typed into the Discord. I'm like, wow, MPA's having a game. He'd had like 90 touches, like 87% passing, uh, uh, 4 interceptions, 3 clearances. I mean, he was just having himself a day. And then to get sent off with like 5 minutes to go, I was like, wow, that's unfortunate. Because
yeah.
between him and Wada, they kind of run as your two eights essentially in build
Mhm.
up, and you kind of need him there. Um, Now after the card, obviously JT kind of slides into that spot, or Varela slides into that spot, and you have options. And I think Bobby probably took those next 10 minutes as a way to look at, okay, no, who are we going to play in Chattanooga? Um, but that's how I was immediately starting to think. I was already moving on to Chattanooga at this point. 2-2, we're done. I don't know how things were in SoPo, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was, a sense that, we I think the general consensus was that we were going to get points out of it. It was just a matter if it was going to be one or three. And come to think of it, yeah, now that MPA is going to be out for Chattanooga at home and after this 10-day break, um, we did see one more change made for Bobby and the Hearts as Mickey Riley comes on to replace Walter Varela late on. And, Hearts just kept on pushing and pushing. Uh, and it was sort of against the run of play, but Hearts eventually found the winner uh, very early on in stoppage time as the good folks over at Titus FC get to pop the champagne as Titus scores the winner for Hearts in the first minute of stoppage time. And it was once again JT sort of making the difference, running on the outside and serving it right on a silver platter for Titus to hammer it home. Now, Shawn, I don't know about you, but it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, and he made a very similar run early on that it didn't end up kind of panning out the way the Hearts wanted it. I think there was a half chance on goal, but certainly he made that same dangerous run that he did before, pretty much right down the right edge of the 6 yard box, and there was probably about like three and eventually four defenders that finally, the fourth one kind of came in late towards the end of his run that he took on. Uh, he just ran down the right side of them. You had like a group of three right at the top of the six, and he ran right by him. The fourth one ended up piling on afterwards, but there was a space right between the fourth one and that group of three, which is exactly where he threaded the ball back up into the top of the six. And Titus Washington did Titus Washington things, and we went up 3-2 in the first minute of extra time.
That was insane. And shout out to my mailman I was talking to today. He's like, they also had Southern and Mickey was there. Like all three of them were wide open because JT
Well,
had
yeah, and
pulled everyone over. It was insane. They panicked and just
oh yeah,
they went full like you know, pee-wee soccer. Like everybody was just like, here's the ball, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
over here.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's funny you mentioned it, Tabor, because sort of on the replay looking back, he pulls five guys over to his side of the field and they try to collapse on him. And somehow he finds a way to thread a ball through that whole mass of defenders and perfectly onto Tice's boot where he finishes. And you're right that, Mickey was right behind him and you had Evos on the far post there, but it was just one of those things where I sort of wonder what the whole frame of mind was there, other than, just trying to knock it out and, maybe get something going and, because that's another point that I wanted to bring up is that Hearts had I think right around 10 corners last night and couldn't convert on a single one. It's a little frustrating, don't you think? That because that it seems like we haven't scored on a set piece since like maybe Halifax.
It's been a while, but I was looking, I was nerding out a little bit, and Langlois did have multiple shots off the corners. Like I think those
Mm,
get lost in
yeah,
the shuffle of
in,
watching the
in the
game.
mess,
But
yeah.
looking back, yeah, like Langlois had a couple shots off of a corner. Now they didn't go anywhere, but I still think the corners continue, for the most part, to look better. There were some, again, it's a midweek game, hard to take too much away from some of that because it's just a leggy play. But there were some decent balls in where people were there and at least put a ball on goal. The goalie had to do something with it. It's a start. I'm grasping at straws.
Well, we had talked about once before with these corner kicks, right? It, as long as they're putting goals in from the field of play, it's a stat that you can point at and go, yep, 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 and we move on, right? As long as they're putting goals in and we're winning matches, it's something to talk about. Yeah, it's certainly something to address. But again, as long as we're scoring, we don't have to be overly critical about it. But we just keep joking that they're saving it up until they're in the playoffs and they're going to win a playoff game off a corner kick or something like that. They're going to save it up and
We're
they're
gonna
going to
turn
make
into
it count.
set piece FC.
Yes. Of course you would know, Tabor, being the Arsenal fan of the bunch.
What we do. Corner FC.
But that may or may not have been brought up a couple of times at the block party that, we gotta channel our inner Arsenal on the
Yeah,
set
exactly.
piece.
Bring in the
Only a ma
pointy bits. They'll get it done. The nerds.
only only a matter of time. And then, a couple minutes later, the final thing really before the full-time whistle is that, our good friend Zane Bubb, number 4 for Greenville, a familiar friend to the Boo Birds of Fitzpatrick Stadium, picks up a yellow in the 4th minute of stoppage time. And, Greenville tried desperately to get an equalizer, but after one successful defense of the corner, the full-time whistle blows, and the Hearts get to pack 3 points with them in their suitcases and bring it back home to Portland. And, it was interesting, the club posting. I don't know if it was after last night. I really hope it was with everybody on the bus. JT's going, "Ah, man, I'm super happy." And MPA, the getting the whole bus, like the seagulls from Finding Nemo going, "Believe, believe."
Believe.
But
Yeah, no,
it was
it
just
was it was good, good socials to see, and the Hearts absolutely flying right now and feeling good, and they should be feeling good. They put a hell of a run of games together and really did a lot for themselves, and the rest of the league certainly knows what type of club sits up here in Maine. They've seen the physical play. They've seen the goal differential and the goals against being some of the lowest in the league. They know this is a hard-working club up here, and I think everyone knew once we started putting some goals together on a consistent basis that this would be a club to be reckoned with. And also having those 2 games in hand, like Coach Bobby Murphy said before, it doesn't mean shit if you don't win. So we can see those melt away in short order and not get any points from it if you're just going to sit there and look at games in hand. You got to do something with it. And these Hearts have gone on a winning streak, and basically 9 for 9 in the last 3. And if you want to go ahead and compare that to what FC Naples is doing, which is in that number 4 spot that we want so badly for a home playoff spot up there at Fitzpatrick Stadium, they have drawn those last 3 games. So, 2-point difference on all 3 of those games. So we've eaten away, 6 points out of those 11 points that we were talking about earlier. So we have cut that deficit in half in 3 matches, and we have another game or 2 in hand to do something. So these Hearts certainly have a path to that number 4 spot. They just need to continue executing like they have displayed in these last 3 or 4 matches.
yeah, and it's
Getting
gonna be
healthy over this. Sorry, Sam. Go for it.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say getting healthy over these next 10 days would go a long way towards that,
Mhm.
right? Like you think, you got all these little, you know, Titus needs another day or two. Obviously, everybody could just use it for just getting your legs back under you. But everybody's at this point in the season, 25 games in, 20 games in, everybody's probably playing with an injury at this point. And to
Mhm.
get 10 days off now before you go into essentially playing from now until the end of October once every 3 days, it's a good time to take 10 days off.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
we
and those
can,
10 days.
I've kind of jotted down a little bit on kind of what the rest of that season looks like for us, John. And to your point, the Hearts need every single bit of this 10-day rest that they are now on between now and September 13th when we play Chattanooga at home. And um, we're going to be in a 3-match series basically over the course of 8 days. Home with Chattanooga, away at Richmond, and home again. A big matchup against FC Naples, where we can clearly take 3 points away from, the fourth team in the table, right? And then we'll have 6 days of rest. Then we're going to go back for another 3 matches over 7 days, facing Texoma, Union, Omaha, Forward, Madison. 6 days of rest. Then we go one Knoxville, just a one-off, right? And then another 8 days of rest. So, a lot of rest after that second group of 3, if you will. And then we finish out the season with 3 matches in 7 days. And it's all at home. It's the home stand, those last 3 matches. Okay. And basically it's Westchester, Spokane, and AV Alta will be the last 3 in a series there. That will finish off the regular season for us. So Spokane certainly will definitely still be in the picture. No doubt about it. AV Alta could catch fire. They could get back into the picture. So those last 2 matches of Spokane and AV Alta could have a lot to say where Portland ranks in the playoff standings. Sam?
And Westchester would love to play spoiler as well.
Yeah.
Not to, they can score goals, and
They
on
can
a
score
narrow
goals,
pitch at
but
Fitzy, oof. Yeah, obviously defense is a bit of an issue.
yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you have, the golden boot, when you've got a golden boot candidate on one end and you don't really have anything on the other end. But, credit to Westchester. They are really good offensively. But, going into this one, I do agree it's a well-needed rest for Hearts, and I guess would you call that your point of positivity, Sean? Or do
So
you got
no, the
something
pint
else
of
in the tank?
yeah, no, the pint of positivity for me is basically a collective over these last 3 matches. And you can point at this match for sure to cap it all off. But it's like we've been talking about for quite some time, and then now the Heart kind of proven the theory and shown that they indeed can score goals both at home and away. A man down, heavy legged, and basically extra time, and to go ahead and take a big 3 points off from a perennial playoff team. In the crossover, I talked with the SG supporter, Andrew Phillips, and he mentioned to me that they have not known a year yet where they have not been in the playoffs. So Greenville Triumph has basically made the playoffs every single year since the beginning of this league, and to beat them 3-1 at Fitzpatrick Stadium and put that sour taste in their mouth. And then knowing that, they were on 10-day rest when we went down and saw them, and we were heavy-legged, and we were away at their place. Believe me, they wanted to turn us over down there, and they were throwing everything at us to do just that. And a heavy-legged Hearts team went down there and gutted it out and came away with 3 points. And that says a lot for this team, with grit, with heart, with determination, and that just will not die mentality that will serve this team well if they are going to get where they want to get. And when they get in the playoffs and they're in this same scenario away, possibly a man down, possibly a goal down. We've done it before, both in the cup competitions early on and just this last match. Can do is the message for the Hearts of Pine. And the proof's in the pudding. We'll do it again. Sam?
Well, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting final stretch of games here, and of course, got to look forward to tomorrow. We've got Heartsapalooza at Thompson's Point. There's going to be the band's going to be there. Mickey and his dad are going to play for a bit. Soggy Po Boys are also going to be there. So they've got a whole thing of musical entertainment lined up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hear Bobby's going to get up on stage, say a few words. and knowing Bobby, it will probably be a few words before giving the mic up. But that will just about do it for the post-match pulse. We'd like to thank you once again for tuning in and hearing us, as Mike would say, waffle on for about an hour or so. But once again, that will pretty much do it. For John Tabor and Shawn Fecto, I'm Sam Tracy, and we'll see you at Hearts-Palooza tomorrow. And we'll enjoy ourselves out at Thompson Sport. What do we think? Up the Hearts, fellas?
Man. Up the Hearts.
Up the Hearts.
Up the Hearts.
Big 3
Up
points.
the Hearts.
Hear the drums, yours and mine, and it beats for our time from the forest to the tide.